Hi, Miss Monson's class. I'm Sean. Today I'm going to be reading My Big Adventure. I woke up and I went downstairs and I stepped on a whoopee and it carried me away to space and I never came down. Samuel, flew to the moon. Luckily, the whoopee cushion took me down to Earth and I fell into a pool. I did a belly flop. It was awesome. I had fun. I went back to my house. It was a long walk. I brought some friends and all of us stepped on a whoopee cushion. Here we go again. Anyway, this is my reimagined version of that fantastic story. Here's the cover. Here's Samuel stuck on the moon. The year is 1998. I lived in London, Idaho. My name is Samuel L. Jackson. One day, I woke up to a loud bang outside my house. I got up and got dressed in some 90s clothes to see what it was. I ran down the stairs and tripped over my Sega Genesis Sonic the Hedgehog game and hit my head on my big CRT TV. It hurt a bit, but I was fine. I went to the door to look outside. It was a nice, warm Idahoan day, with only a couple clouds in the sky. I put my purple sunglasses and bright pink coat on, and I went outside. I stepped onto my lush green lawn, but I wasn't looking where I was going, and my foot landed on a whoopee cushion. It must have been a big whoopee, because it carried me up into the sky, past the clouds, into space. And I never came down. Next thing I know, I landed on the moon. The moon was very bright and cold. The surface was stark white and barren with craters everywhere. Luckily, I had my coat and sunglasses. I had no way back to Earth, so I walked around the moon a bit. My blue shoes started to get a little dusty, and I had dust in my Pokemon underwear. I was very lonely on the moon. I looked out at Earth and thought about my friends and how much they'd like it here. I need to get home. After being stuck on the moon for what felt like a couple hours, I realized that I was hungry. I hadn't eaten any breakfast, and I was pretty thirsty. I had to get back to Earth. That's when I noticed it. The whoopee that carried me into space somehow came with me. Eager to get back home, I stepped on it, and it launched me back to Earth. I landed in a pool in the middle of a snowy jungle somewhere. I did a belly flop. It was pretty awesome. I was glad I had my coat because it came in handy a second time because of how snowy it was. I knew at that point I was very far from home, so I decided to walk. I was still very lonely from being on the moon. I had to walk for at least 3 hours before I got back to Idaho. By the time I got home, it was very dark out, and I was happy to be home. I realized it was actually quite a fun adventure, but the only problem is that I got lonely. So the next day, a couple of my friends came over so we could all go to the moon together. We packed a picnic lunch. We each put on dust-proof Pokemon underwear. We went outside and walked over to the whoopee cushion still in my yard, and we each stepped on it. Here we go again.